Hello everyone. Today is day 7 of our Cisco SD-WAN batch. Okay, so in today's session, we will be doing our edge device and the controller configuration via template. Okay, so in today's session, we will be discussing what is templates, and then we will see how to create feature templates. And then using those feature templates, we will see how to create device templates. Okay, and then we will configure our edge routers using device templates. Okay, and apart from that, we will also do configuration of one of our controllers. Okay, so there are three types of controllers: vmanage, vbond, and vsmart. So we will configure vsmart controller via device template. Okay, and after that, we will see what exactly happens after all the configuration is done. Okay, so there are control connections that we discussed. There will be OMP peering, and there are BFD sessions. So we will see which device the control connections are formed, with which device OMP peerings are formed, with which device BFD sessions are formed. So we will see all of this in details, and we will also do a commands walkthrough. So these are the commands that will be used on daily basis for verifying the configuration and the troubleshooting purpose. So we will see each and every command in detail. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. So let us discuss about the templates first. We have already discussed about it earlier, but we will go through it once again. Okay. So when we talk about template, there are two ways to configure our devices in the SD-WAN. One is via CLI mode, and the other one is via template mode. CLI mode is similar to what we used to do in our legacy network. Take SSH access of the device and do the configuration. This device is also available. This feature is also available in the SD-WAN to configure it, but it is not recommended. Okay. So we are left with other option, which is template. So when we talk about template, template is divided into two categories. One is device template, other one is feature template. Now, when we talk about feature template, what exactly is feature template? So let's say I have a router over here, and if I want to configure this router, so let's say I have one connectivity with MPLS, one connectivity with internet on the WAN side. I have two LAN subnets, one in VPN2, other one in VPN3. VPN2 and VPN is nothing but you can consider it as VRF. And anything apart from VPN 0 and VPN 512 are service VPN. Anything apart from VPN 0 and VPN 512 are service VPN. My VPN 0 is transport VPN, and VPN 512 is management VPN. So on the LAN side, I will have VPN 2 and VPN 3. So in order to configure this device, what I will be needing is, I will be needing a system template first. Now this system template will consist of site ID, system IP, organization name, etc. Apart from that, I will need a VPN 0 template. And in this VPN 0 template, I will configure this template. So in our case, it is interface GE 0/0 and interface GE 0/1. Also in the MPLS, in our case, if I go here, in our case, this GE 0/0 is connected to MPLS, and we are having OSPF over here, correct? So what we will do is, we will also have to configure a OSPF. So we will need a OSPF feature template. So these are the feature templates that we will be needing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 feature templates for the WAN side. Apart from that, I will need few more feature templates. One will be for VPN2, then the other one will be the interface that is in VPN2, interface GE0/2, and then the OSPF. We also have a OSPF in our VPN2 LAN side. Let me show that to you. So if you see here, let me hide it. So if you see here on the LAN side, we have OSPF. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will begin again, no problem. Let me just see. All right, so the recording is in progress. Perfect. So we were discussing what are the templates that I'm going to need. So we were discussing that. I'll begin again. Okay. So templates are divided into two categories. One is feature template and the other one is device template. Now, in order to configure my router, taking an example of the router that I have in my network, lab network, I have two WAN connectivities, one towards MPLS and the other one towards internet. I have two VPNs, VPN2 and VPN3, and this is my LAN network. What are the configurations that I will be needing? So the first thing that I will need is system template. So in the system template, I will have my site ID, my system IP, my organization name, host name, and so on. The second thing that I will need is my VPN0. Now, what is VPN0? VPN0 is nothing but the transport VPN. So I will be needing VPN0 for my MPLS connectivity. I will be needing for my MPLS connectivity and for the internet connectivity. Apart from that, I have two interfaces in VPN0. One is GH1 and the other one is GE0/0. I will be needing that as well. So I will need interface GE0/0 and interface GE0/1. Apart from that, on the MPLS side, I have OSPF running. On this MPLS side, I have OSPF. So I will need a OSPF template as well. Now this was for my WAN side. Now if I talk about my LAN side, I have VPN2, I have VPN3, I have OSPF running over here, I have OSPF running over here. Okay, and apart from that, I have two interfaces, which is GE0/3 and GE0/2. So I will be needing these feature templates. So sixth, I will need is VPN2. Seventh, I will need interface GE0/2, which is in VPN2. Eighth, I will need OSPF template for my LAN side, which is in VPN2. Ninth, I will need VPN3. Over here, and then interface in my VPN3, which is GE0/3, and finally OSPF. for my VPN 3 side. Apart from that, I will also need my VPN 512, which is the management VPN, and interface in VPN 512. So these are the requirement for me to configure my devices. Okay, so these are nothing but a feature template, not small blocks of configurations. Now, feature template is nothing but a small blocks of configuration, and device template is nothing but combining these small block feature template will give you a device template. I repeat again, feature template is nothing but a small block of configuration, and combining these small blocks of configuration gives you device template. And in this device template, we go ahead and attach our devices to configure them. I hope this is clear to everyone. So let us go ahead. Let us go ahead and configure the feature templates for our edge routers. Before proceeding with the configuration of feature templates have three different sections, three different values. One is default, second is device specific, and third is global. So to explain what does device default mean is, by default, if we go to any of the device, let us go ahead and check this. Let me open. If we talk about any of the interfaces, so if we see over here, we have interface fast Ethernet 0/1, and the default behavior of any of the interface is that it is always in down state. Okay. Now, if I'm trying to configure a feature template for this particular interface fast Ethernet 0/1, and if I keep a value to default, in that case, this interface will be in down state. Now, default meaning any default configuration of the interface or the feature. The second is device specific. So let us talk about what device specific is. If I go here, I have, so if I go here, I have GE 0/0, which is connecting to the MPLS. From my Dubai router, I have GE 0/0 that is connecting from my London router towards the MPLS. Now, if I have to use a feature template, one feature template to configure both this interface, in that case, if I have to, in this interface, I have to give the IP address. Okay. So if I have to give the IP address, I will have to keep it device specific, meaning this value will be configured as per the requirement of the device. So over here, I have IP address as 60.1.1.1 on this side and 70.1.1.1 on this side. Now, if I have to if I have to use same feature template for the devices, I will keep it to device specific. The option is global. Global meaning we will have to enter a value over there. So if I go ahead and enter a value of 60.1.1.1 and I attach the same feature template to this router as well, the IP address of this interface will be 60.1.1.1. So this is the difference between the device specific and now let's go ahead and do the configuration. I'll go to open my Linux machine. All right. So we have already listed the templates that we are going to need to configure this. Okay. So let us try to configure the system template first. So we will be configuring the system template first. So for configuring the feature template, I will go to configuration templates. And in the template section, there are two options. First is the device and the second is the feature. So now I am configuring feature templates. So I will go to feature. Now I see there is an option to add template. I will click on add template. Now it is asking me for the device name. One thing that is important to note here is these feature templates are specific to the device models. So for example, if I am using VH Cloud, this is one device model in my network. Other device model is ISR 1000 series. Let's say other router is ASR 1000 series. So the feature templates that I am configuring for ISR 1000 series will not be applicable for ASR. I will have to create a different feature template for this ASR. Similarly, the feature template configured for this ASR router will not be applicable for the ISR router. So in our case, we are using VH Cloud. So I will go here and select VH Cloud. Now in this VH Cloud, I am getting multiple options. So I will look for the system template. Here is the system template. I will select this system template. Now remember that we are going to use this system template for my London router. I'm going to so I'm going to use this system template for my London router, for my Dubai router, and for my HO India router. So now whatever configuration that I am going to do in the system template, what options will I be selecting? Should I be selecting over here as specific or as global? Can you all confirm in chat box? Which option is suitable in this scenario? Anyone? I have received response from Balchandra. Anyone else, guys? I have received response from Santosh as well. Okay, so Balchandar and Santosh, you all have answered that we will be selecting as global template. No, that is not a right answer. We will be selecting device specific. I'll tell you all the reason why. Let me go to my feature template. Okay, so what values am I getting to select over here? We see that I am getting a site ID. I'm getting a site ID option. I'm getting a system IP option. Apart from that, I'm getting a host name option. Now, if I select site ID as, what will happen? Site ID, let's say I selected it as 60 and I gave it as 60. Now what will happen? This site ID 60 will be applied to my HO India router, to my London router, and to my Dubai router. But what is the site ID of my HO India router? It is 50. What is the site ID of my London router? It is 70. Will this be the correct option to select? No. So in this case, what I will do is I will go ahead and I will select it as device specific. Is that clear? Perfect. Similarly, I have different site IDs, system IPs for my London router, for my Dubai router, and for my HO router. Now, since it is a different values for system IP, and I'm going to the same system template to configure 3 devices, I will keep system IP as well to the device specific. The first thing that we have to do after selecting any of the template is give the, now this name should be something that you all should recollect. So I will do the name as branch br-system. I will copy, I will give the same as description. Now, apart from that, other options do we have here? I have an option of time zone as well. Now, my Dubai router and my hub router, which is HO India, all are in a different time zone. So I will, what option do I select over here? Should I go with a global or with a device specific? Perfect. So I've received response from Chandra and Krishna. Anyone else? So this time it is going to be device specific. Krishna and Balchandra, both of you are correct. I will select this as device specific. Next, rest of the things I will keep as it is. No changes. I will keep the console baud rate to default, which is 9600. Rest everything will be same. I will save it. Now I have configured one block of configuration. We need 13 such blocks of configuration to configure a device template. Okay, 13, do not confuse it with 13. 13 is the requirement because depending upon the device that we are going to configure in our lab, this could be 12 or 18 in yours in different scenarios, but in our case it is going to be 13 as of now. So we have configured first block of configuration. Next, what we need is we need a VPN 0 template. So and configure a VPN 0 template. I'll click on add template. I'll go here. I'll select it as cloud, VH cloud. This is the device model that we are using. Now this time I will go ahead and select here as VPN. I will give the name as branch VPN 0. Now, can someone confirm what should be the number that I will be using here? Should it be a global or a device specific? Remember, I'm going to use this device template for 3 devices: HO India, London, and Dubai. Now, should this be set to a global value or a device specific value? Perfect, perfect. I've received response from Krishna, Umar, Santosh, and Balchandra. I've also received it from Tarun. All of y'all are absolutely correct. We are going to use this value as global because the same, all of my branch routers are having VPN 0. So that is the reason I'm going to keep it as device specific. I will give the name as branch VPN 0. And if you all remember, I'll come directly to IPv4 route. If you all remember, we have a default route. In our VPN 0, we have a default route in our VPN 0, which is pointing towards the next hop, which is configured on the internet router. So in this case, in my Dubai case, we have a default route pointing towards internet, which is 10.60.1.254. In the case of my London router, it is 10.70.1.254. And in the case of HO India, it is 10.50.1.254. And if you all remember, in the VPN 0 configuration of a router, if I go to any of my router, and if I do show running configuration VPN 0, I see that in my VPN 0, I have a default route. And in the VPN 0 itself, I have these attached. And there is also a DNS IP configured. So what I will do is under this VPN 0 only, I will create a default route. And also I will give the entry of my DNS. Go ahead and do that. So let me give the DNS entry over here. Primary DNS. I will set it to global because the same DNS entry will be used for all the routers. And the second DNS I will give is it dot it dot it dot it. The next I will come to IPv4 route. We have a default route in this network. So I will give a default route 0.0.0.0/0. And the next hop IP, I will click on add next hop. Now, what should I select here? Should I select it as global or device specific? Okay, we got a response from John, Krishna, Balchandra. Anyone else? Anyone else? Santosh. Perfect, perfect. I've received response from ample of students. Okay, yeah. So this will be a device specific because we are going to use the same for Dubai, London, and router, and the next hop IP for each of the router is different. Now, when I select device specific over here, this is the naming convention that will help us to identify what IP address should I be using here. Okay. So this should be something very simple so that we can see it and realize what configuration needs to be done over here. So here I will put it as next hop IP towards internet. towards internet. I will click on add. It is very important to click on add here, and then you have did this entire configuration. You have did this entire configuration. But if you do not click on this add and simply go ahead and save it, this will not be added. So make sure after doing all this configuration, we click on add. All right. So I will click on add. Then I will go ahead and rest of the configuration will be as it is. I will go ahead and save it. I have configured BR VPN0. I have configured branch system. Next thing I am going to configure is the interfaces that are in VPN0. In our scenario, there are two interfaces that is in VPN0. Interface 1, which is GE0/0, and the other one is GE0/1. Okay. Now the goal is we will be keeping, so this is my hub router. Okay. And this is my branch routers. Ideally, all the configuration of the hub have a different device template. Now, in our case, we only have one hub router, but in the actual environment, we will have multiple hub routers. Okay, so for that, in that case, what they do is what happens is the branch routers will have a separate device template, and the hub routers will have a separate device template. But in our scenario, since we have only one hub router, we will be using the same device template. Okay, and accordingly we will do our configurations. So we have two interfaces in VPN0 on all the three routers. So let us go ahead and create the interface template. So here I will click on add template. I will select the device. I will go down and search for VPN interface Ethernet. This feature template can be used to configure management interface, WAN interface, and LAN interface. Since we are configuring WAN interface, I will select this template. Now I will have to give it a name. So what name will I give? I will give the name as I will give this a name as interface towards MPLS. I'm going to configure it for this interface. So I will give it as interface towards MPLS or MPLS interface. MPLS interface. And at the very start, I will give it as branch MPLS interface. Here I will give the same name. See, this is the difference. We have seen what is global and what is device specific. Now, this is what is default value. By default, all the interfaces are in shutdown state. Okay, now if I select this, keep this value as default, then this interface will be in shutdown state. So now what I will do is I will go ahead and select this as global because all the interface will be in no shut state. Now, if I see here on my London router, I have GE0/0, which is connecting towards MPLS, GE0/0 from my Dubai router connecting towards the MPLS. But in HO India router, it is GE0/3. So if I have to select the interface name over here in my this device template, what option will I select? Will I keep it a global or a device specific? Okay, I've received response from Tarun. Will it be a device specific or a global? Perfect, perfect. Okay, I've received ample responses. Yes, so in this case, we are going ahead with device specific. Okay, now we are also going to mention the naming convention. So I will give it as MPLS hyphen interface. Now, as soon as I see this MPLS interface, we will get to know what detail should be entered over there. Okay, you will get to know about the use of this when we attach it into the device template and we actually do the configuration. So next, what we will do is we will go to the IP address configuration. Now, the IP address configuration for these interface will be static, and I will again set it to device specific, and I will give the name as MPLS interface IP address. I will keep it to device specific and static. Next, we will go to configuration. Rest of it will be default. Next, I will go to tunnel interface. Now, on this interface, now since this is a WAN interface, expecting this interface to connect with my controllers to form a control connection. This similar interface will be used to connect with the different branches and form a IPsec tunnel. So now what it is asking here is, will this be a tunnel interface? Do we expect a tunnel to be formed on this interface? So we will select it as yes. We'll set to global and we will select it as yes. Now, the next option that we have is, it is asking us for the color. Color is nothing but a representation of your WAN interface. So what options do we have here? There are multiple options we have here. Now, this interface will only be specifically connecting to the MPLS interface, right? On each of my router, this interface will only connect to the MPLS router. So I will keep it as global, and there are multiple colors over here. Now, this is nothing but a representation of which interface it is connecting to. So I will select it to MPLS. Now this restrict option, we will keep it as off. The reason we will keep it to off is, now we have given the color as MPLS. Now let's say my controller has a different color, and most of the time the controllers are set to a default color. Okay, now if we turn on this restrict option on this branch, this MPLS color will not form the control connection with any other color, be it default or be it a biz. So restrict meaning MPLS colors will only form control connection with other interfaces that has set its color to MPLS. We will see this once we have configured it. Okay, next we go down. We keep all of this as default. We do not make any changes over here. Now we go to allow services. In this case, we change the allow service to global and we set it as on. Now we are not expecting BGP on this. This will be using OSPF, correct? So we will not be using BGP, so we will keep it as off. We have configured static IP on this interface. So I will change it to global, and then I will turn DHCP off on this interface. DNS will be on, ICMP will be on. The next is netconf. Netconf, I'm expecting a netconf on this interface because vmanage will push the configuration to the branches using tunnel interface, and the vmanage use netconf protocol. So I will turn this on. Rest, I will turn on OSPF as well because we are OSPF on this interface. Rest, I will turn on SSH as well. Rest, I will keep it to default. Rest, everything will be same. There are no need to make any changes over here. I will keep everything as it is. I'll click on save. Now we have configured another feature template for MPLS interface. Now what we will do is we will go ahead and create the same feature template for interface. So I will be a little faster this time because the major things that I wanted to discuss about the feature templates we have already covered. So I will select a cloud, VH cloud device, VPN interface Ethernet. The name that I will give is branch internet interface. In this scenario, as well, I am using GE0/0 on my HO India and GE0/1 on my other branch routers. So again, I will have to keep it to device specific. I will keep it as no shut. This is going to be device specific. Set it as internet interface. Next, the IP will be set to static, and I will be using device specific internet interface IP address. Rest will be kept as it is. I am expecting a tunnel on this interface, so I will turn it on. This time I will select a different color because it is not connecting towards my internet MPLS router, rather it is connecting to a internet router. So I will select biz internet. Rest will be set to default. No changes here. In the allow service, I will select allow all services. Not expecting BGP on this interface, so I will keep it to off. DHCP will be off. I will turn on netconf. I'm not expecting OSPF on this interface, so I will keep it to off. SSH will be turned on. Rest everything will be as it is, no changes. I will click on save. I have configured 4 feature templates. Next, I also need a MPLS or OSPF feature template because between my London router and between my branch router and the hub router, I have a OSPF connectivity with this MPLS router. So I will also create a feature OSPF template. I'll go to add template and select as cloud. Here I will select as OSPF. I will select as branch VPN 0 OSPF. Router ID will be set to default. Everything will be set to default. Area will be area 0, and I will add an interface OSPF process. Now this interface again I will set to device specific. I will set to OSPF interface VPN 0 MPLS. I will set it to device specific because on my hub router I have GE0/3 which is connecting to MPLS. Routers I have GE0/0. So I will keep it to device specific. I will click on add. After clicking on add, again I will click on add over here. Rest everything will be as it is. Save. The WAN side configuration is completed. Now I will proceed with the LAN side configuration. For LAN, I will need VPN template, OSPF template, and interface template. So I will quickly create these three. For cloud, I need a VPN. This will be a branch VPN 2. This time I will set it to global, and this will be 2 because both my branch routers have VPN 2. And that is it. I need to do any configuration over here. This is just a VPN 2 configuration. Rest everything will be same as it is. I will click on save. It says some area is missing. It is -2. So I will set to 2 and save. Now I will need a OSPF process. For this, first I will create an interface for VPN 2. An interface for VPN 2. I will this time keep it to global, okay, because GE0/2 is configured in VPN 2 over my Dubai router and the London router as well. In my HO India router, we will be creating a loopback interface for LAN side. We are not using this as of now because this is used for service chaining. So in my VPN 2, I will create a loopback interface, but here I will keep it to default this time. So I will go interface, or rather I will keep it to device specific branch VPN 2 interface. Now this will be global, no shut. Okay. So I will again set it to device specific because this will be used for loopback interface as well as physical interface. Physical interface for my Dubai router and London router, loopback interface for my HO India router. So we'll keep it to device specific. VPN to interface. Now, next is the IP configuration. Now, this is again going to be a static IP configuration. VPN to interface VPN2 hyphen IP address. Next, I'm not expecting a tunnel on this interface, and rest everything will be same. No need to make any changes. This is a LAN side and there will be no tunnel on this interface. That is the reason I am keeping it to off. Rest there will be no changes. I will keep it to default and I will save it. Now, one more thing I need to configure is OSPF. I will go ahead and select VH Cloud, OSPF. Branch VPN2 OSPF. Everything will be same. The only thing that I do changes is area. This will be area 0. And the interface, this time I will add interface. And this will be interface GE 0/2. The reason I am using this as global because GE 0/2. In both the cases, GE 0/2 is in my VPN2. And that is the reason I am using it as global this time. I will go ahead and keep it to GE 0/2. I'll click on add. I'll click on add again. And I will save it. Now what I can do is I need VPN3 for my site 2 on Dubai as well as on London. Apart from that, I also need interface GE 0/3. I also need OSPF. Now I have already created similar configurations over here. Now what I can do is I can simply create a copy of these feature templates and do the necessary changes. So let me show that to you. What I can do is now I have already configured VPN2 interface, VPN2 feature template. I now need VPN3 feature template. What I will do is I will simply create a copy of this interface, VPN2. Copy, rename it to VPN3. Copy is created. Now I will go ahead and make the necessary changes in this template. Now here the only change will be the VPN number. Earlier it was VPN2. Now this time it will be VPN3. That's it. I will click on update. Similarly, for my OSPF as well, I will create a copy of it from VPN2 to I will change it to VPN3 OSPF. I will create a copy. Now what changes do I need here? I need to make the changes of the interfaces. Now in the area configuration, I have kept it as GE 0/3, whereas it should be GE 0/3 in our VPN3. I will click on save changes and then update. My OSPF interface is also ready. OSPF feature template is also ready. Now I will create an interface template, which is, I click on cancel. I have to create a copy of it. I will create a copy. BR VPN3 interface. I will edit it. So what do I need to edit here? I need to edit this thing, the naming convention, which is VPN 3. VPN 3. The next thing that I will change is the naming convention that I have given in static IP configuration. Interface VPN 3 IP address. Apart from that, rest everything will be as it is. I will click on update. Now we are done with the WAN configuration of feature template, LAN configuration of left with management interface. Okay, so for that, let me go ahead and see which interface do I have in VPN 512. In my 512, I have interface is 0 over here. So we'll go ahead and do the necessary configurations. I will click on add template. I will select cloud. I will select VPN. I will give the name as BR-VPN-512. I will change the VPN value to 512. That's it. No other changes will be done over here. And click on save. Next, I need a interface in BR-VPN 512. I'll click on add template. We go to cloud, VH cloud, and VPN interface, Ethernet. I'll give the name as BR-interface-VPN 512 and set it to no shut. This time all my routers has ETH0 interface in VPN 512. So I will simply go ahead and set it to global and give the name as ETH0. And the IP address this time will be set to dynamic. This is the only changes that we will do here. We are not expecting tunnel on this particular interface. We will go ahead and save it. Now we have configured all the required feature templates. All the feature templates are handy with us. Now all the blocks of the feature templates are handy with us. Now what we will do is I will go ahead and configure a device template using these feature templates. Let me go back to my vManage. I will go to device template. Now I will click on create template. It is asking me whether I want to configure it from feature template or from the CLI template. We are not using CLI template, and hence I will go ahead with feature template. I'll click on feature template. Now it is asking me for device model, device role, template name, and description. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have configured all the feature template for VH Cloud. We have configured all the feature template for VH Cloud. So now, let's say I select some other model. Let's say I select some ISR 4221 model. Now I will not be able to see any of the feature templates that we have configured. You see in the system template, it is showing us blank. Now, as soon as I select a VH Cloud, it will give us the system feature template that we created. So we created this BR system. So all the feature templates that you created is depend upon the device model. No feature template that is created for one model can be used for another device model. This thing we need to keep in mind. These feature templates are model specific. If it is created for ISR 4000 series, we cannot use it for ISR 1000 series. If we have created for VH Cloud, we cannot use it for ISR or ASR. These feature templates are model specific. All right, so we will create VH Cloud. It is asking me for the device role. I will give it as edge router. It is asking me for the template name. I will give it as branch/hub router, because we are using this template for branch router as well as hub router. Now in the system template, I will select the system template that I had configured. Rest I will keep it to default. Next, what do I have here? I have transport and management VPN. Now, which VPN is transport VPN? Can you all tell me in the chat box? Which VPN is transport VPN? Perfect. I've started receiving responses. That's good. That's good. Okay. So perfect. Transport VPN is VPN 0. Management VPN is VPN 512. So what it is asking me? It is asking me for VPN 0 and management VPN. So what I will do here is I will select branch VPN 0, which is the feature template that I had configured. Now in this feature template, what do I have? I have two one towards MPLS and the other one towards the internet. So what I will do is I will add two VPN interfaces, one for MPLS, one for internet. Now, if I go ahead, I will select here branch VPN, branch MPLS interface. Okay, this is MPLS and this is for the, so I will select as MPLS interface. And in the next one, I will select as interface internet. Perfect. Now, what do I have more over here? So next, I use, if you remember, with my OSPF router, with my MPLS router, I have OSPF process. So in the VPN 0, I have to call OSPF as well. I will go ahead and call OSPF in this particular VPN 0. And I have three OSPF created, one for VPN 0, one for VPN 2, another for VPN 3. Now here I will select as OSPF VPN 0. Next in VPN 512, I have only one interface, which is my ETH0. I will simply select it. BR interface VPN 512. So this is where Firstly, naming convention is very handy. Now, if you have given any other name that is not relevant, you might confuse yourself and end up selecting a wrong interface, which will result in wrong configuration. So this is why these naming conventions are very, very critical and very important. Now, which service VPN do we have? Can you all tell me how many service VPNs do we have and what are those service VPNs? Right. I've started receiving response. I've received response from Balchandra, Abdul, John. That's good. Good, good. I've received from Omar as well. Perfect, guys. Perfect. We have two VPNs over here. Okay. And I will add two VPN. VPN 2. I will not select both of them together. I'll click on next. If I select both of them together, that will be in configuration. And now in this VPN2, I have two aspects. One is the interface that is in VPN, and other one is the OSPF that I have in this VPN. So I will select OSPF VPN2 and the interface branch VPN2 interface. I will click on add. Perfect. Next, I will add another VPN, which is VPN3. And in this VPN, again, I have a OSPF process running and a VPN interface. I will select as VPN3 and VPN3 interface. I will click on add. With this, I have successfully completed my device template. I will click on create. Now the final part, this is the device template. This is the number of feature templates attached to it. This gives the model of the device. Here we see the devices attached count. As of now, it is 0. So we have simply created the device template. We have not attached any device to it. Here we see it was created and updated. These are the details that we get. Now what I will do is my next step is to it. So we have 3 devices and we will go ahead and attach all 3 devices to it. To attach device, I will click on these 3 dots and click on attach devices. Now I have 3 devices, which is Dubai, or rather I will give the system IP. First one is 99.99.99.60. These are the 3 devices that I am going to attach. Dubai router, London router, and HO India router. I will select all of these. The selected one shows me in yellow. Then I'll click on this. Click on this, it will come from year to year. This means I have selected these 3 devices for the device template. Now I will click on attach. After clicking on attach, if you remember, there are certain device specific that we had done in the feature templates. Now here is the time we go ahead and fill those device specific values. So what I will do is for my BR Dubai, I will click on this 3 dot and then I will click on edit device template. Now it is asking me for VPN3 interface IP address. Now do you remember we give this as in the device specific column, we were giving some naming convention. Now with this naming convention, we will be able to identify what exactly the values to be filled here. Now, if this is incorrect, we will end up filing these details in the wrong way. And ideally, that will be an incorrect device configuration and the results will not be as expected. So this naming convention is very critical. So now let us go ahead and see what IP address do we have for my VPN3 IP in my Dubai router. So for my Dubai router in VPN3, I have 192.168.70.1. So I'll go ahead and enter here as 192.168.70.1/24. What is the name of my VPN3 interface? It is interface GE0/3. We have GE0/3. So I will select here as GE0/3. In my VPN 2, we have GE0/2 interface. The IP address over here is 172.16.70.1. 172.16.70.1/24. The next hop IP address towards internet on my Dubai router. It is 10.60.1.254. So we are doing this configuration for Dubai router and I've entered IP address for my London router, which is wrong. I will make the changes. Is 192.168.60, and the IP address is 1061.254, the next hop IP. MPLS interface IP address is 60.1.1.1/24. 60.1.1.1/24. MPLS interface is GE0/0. Internet interface IP address. Internet interface IP address is 10.60.1.1. 10.60.1.1/24. Internet interface name is GE0/1. OSPF interface VPN0 is GE0/1. System IP is 99.99.99.60. Site ID is 60. Host name is BR-Dubai. Time zone is Asia Dubai. All right, let us quickly review it. IP address on VPN3 is 10.66.192.168.168.60.1. Looks good. GE0/3. 172.16.1.24. G0/2. 1061.254. 61.11. Okay. All right. Interface internet is G0/1. Looks good. I will click on update. Next, I will go ahead and configure London router. This will be 48.70. VPN3 interface will be same GE0/2. This will be 172.16.70. This will be GE0/1071.254. MPLS interface IP address is 70.1.1.254. Okay, 70.1.1. MPLS interface is GE0/0 interface towards internet. Internet interface IP is 10.70.1.1. Internet interface is 0/1. OSPF interface in VPN 0 is 0/0. System IP is 99.99.99.70. Site ID is 70. Host name is BR London. Time zone is Europe London. I'll click on update. Finally, I'll go ahead and update the hub router configuration. So here we will keep as 192.168.50.0, 50.1/24. This will be loopback 3 VPN 2 IP address 172.16.50.1/24. This will be loopback to next hop IP is 10.50.1.254. MPLS interface IP address is 50.1.1.1. MPLS interface is GE0/3. Internet interface IP address is 10.50.1.2. Internet interface name is GE0/0. OSPF interface VPN 0 is GE0/3. System IP is 99.99.99.50. Site ID is 50. Host name is HO India Asia Kolkata. Time zone is Asia Kolkata. I click on update. I select next. We can see the configuration difference as well. To see the configuration difference, we will select the device. This is my Dubai router. This is my London router. This is my hub router. And then I will click on config difference. Here I see I can view it by side difference as well. Now we see multiple colors over here. Green meaning configuration is being added. Red meaning configuration is being deleted. And if we see something in yellow, yellow meaning configuration is being updated. There is a change in this configuration. So for example, my interface was in shut state. Now if I do it to no shut, this will be shown in yellow. Earlier there was a no username admin, and if I create a username admin, then it will show me in green because the configuration is being added. And earlier, let's say if there was a admin and I have removed the admin user, then it will show me in red. So I'll verify the configuration. We just need to make sure that we have not removed the configuration of VPN 0. Okay, I'll quickly configure this device. Now, while verifying this configuration, we need to verify that we are not removing VPN 0 configuration or anything related to this VPN 0, because the configuration is pushed via a tunnel. So the configuration is pushed from the vManage to the edge router using the tunnel and using netconf protocol. Okay, and if my VPN 0 is impacted, in that case, this configuration will not be able to push. Number one. Number two, if we do any changes on this VPN 0 and that is affecting the WAN configuration, then the template will not be pushed and the device will roll back to the old version. Let's say my VPN 0 has interface GE0/0, and now while pushing the template, I change it to shut. In that case, this SD-WAN fabric is smart enough to identify interface G0/0 is my VPN 0, and if I change it to shut, then the control connection will go down. In that case, what it will do is it will fail the configuration and the device will roll back to whatever the earlier configuration was. Now I see that two devices are showing success, perfect, and one device is showing failure. Now, whenever the device configuration is failed, it gives us an error. Now let's see what error it is giving us. Now it is giving us an error, VPN instance 2. Let me copy this to a notepad and read what exactly the error it is. It is telling us failed to update configuration, device with this details, VPN instance 2, router OSPF area 0, interface GE0/2, interface referenced by OSPF, configure an address or remove the address. So now what I understand from this is I have mentioned interface GE0/2 in my area 0 OSPF for VPN instance 2. All right. So let me go ahead and do the changes. I'll go to templates. Now here we see that we tried attaching 3 devices, but one of them failed and hence it is showing 2 devices over here. I will add the device again over here. Attach device. I will attach my HO India router here. I will change the device values. Now let us fill this again. My VPN 3 IP address is 192.168.50.1. My VPN 3 interface is loopback 3. My VPN to interface IP is 50.1. VPN to interface is loopback 2. Next hop IP address towards internet is 10.50.1.254. MPLS interface IP address is 50.1.1.1. MPLS interface is GE0/3. Next, internet interface IP address is 10.51.2. Internet interface is GE0/0. Okay. OSPF interface VPN 0 is GE0/3. System IP is 99.99.99.50. And site ID is 50. Host name is HO India. Time zone is Kolkata. Okay, I'll have to take the access once again. I've lost the connection. Take it again. This will be Asia. So let me review the configuration once again. VPN 3. Okay. Now this time the configuration looks good. Let me click on update and let me review the error as well. It was giving me an error which is in VPN instance 2, router OSPF area 0 and interface GE0/2. Okay. Instance 2, router OSPF area 0. Let me click on next and click on configure. Yeah, it has failed again. What error do we have this time? VPN instance 2, router OSPF. Okay, so let me go ahead and verify the VPN 2 interface. Templates, picture template. Now what I understand is in my VPN 2 interface of OSPF, okay, I have configured a interface. I have set it to global. That is what I understand from the error. Let me go ahead and verify it. In this area, what I understand is I have set this interface to global. Yes, and this is the error that I am getting. Now what I will do is I will simply change it to device specific interface VPN2 interface OSPF VPN2. I will click on save changes. Now, as soon as I click on save changes, I have two devices attached to this feature template. I have two devices attached to this feature template. It will ask us to enter the device detail, interface detail for those two devices as well. Now, what I will do is I will click on update. Now, as soon as I click on update, it is asking me to update these two devices. The feature template is attached to my Dubai router and the London router. Now I will have to enter the details on these two routers before pushing this template. So I will simply click on edit device template. I will change it to GE0/2 update, edit device template, change it to GE0/2 update. Next. Now we will see the difference before pushing it. Okay, we are not getting any difference. The reason we are not getting any difference is earlier we had hard coded GE0/2 in the feature template. Now we have set it to device specific. But at the end of the day, there is no change in the device configuration. The configuration is as it is. And hence there is no changes. I will click on configure device. See that the configuration has been pushed successfully. Now I will attach my HO India router to this template. Attach edit device template. The details I will enter. VPN2 interface is loopback 2 interface OSPF VPN2. Next hop IP is 1051.254. Interface OSPF VPN2, which is loopback 2. Okay. Okay. 1051.1.1, which is MPLS. MPLS interface is GE0/3. Internet interface IP is 1051.2. Interface is GE0/1. OSPF interface VPN0 MPLS will be GE0/3. Site ID 50. HO India, Asia, Kolkata. So guys, we this time. Click update, next, and configure. What do you think? Will this work this time? We get any error? We are getting an error. Why are we getting an error? Because I suspect in VPN 3 as well, we have same configuration. We have hard coded the interface. Now what error we are getting? We are getting the error for VPN 3. Now what do we have to do? Simply go ahead and edit VPN 3. We will simply go ahead and edit the VPN 3 interface. In the feature template, we will go to VPN 3, OSPF VPN 3, edit, area, edit, interface, change it to device specific, OSPF VPN 3 interface. Save changes. Save changes. It will again ask for updating the existing device of Dubai and London. I will have to edit it. This will be GE0/3. Update. This will again GE0/3. Update, next, and configure. So now these are the stages of pushing the configuration. So the first stage is my vManage will generate the configuration on the basis of the template. It will see whether the device is added in the vManage or not. It will check whether the device is online or not. It will update the device configuration in vManage, and then finally it will push the configuration. So these are the stages, and it also does a before pushing the configuration. So these are the which the configuration is attached to our device. Now let me go ahead and configure the device. Okay. Attached devices. Go back 3. VPN 3 will be same. VPN 2 address will be 172.16. This will be loopback 2. Loopback 2. 1050.1254. MPLS interface is GE0/3. Internet interface IP address is 1051.2. Internet interface is GE0/0. Okay. VPN 0 OSPF towards MPLS is GE0/3. 9950 50 HO India. India Asia Kolkata. Update. Load this CSV file this time. Next. And configure. Guys, will this work this time? Will it work this time, guys? Okay, no responses. It has failed again. Now, why is it failing? Let us see the error once again. Loopback to interface name invalid. So what it is telling us is it is an invalid interface name. So the loopback to interface that we have given is not a valid one. So what I will do is I will create a separate template for this particular device. And that will be really quick. I will simply copy a device template, copy device template, and give the name as hub router. And this is the reason why in the actual environment as well, the hub router and the branch routers has a different device template. Okay, so what we will do is we have copied the template and I will create a feature template for loop. Cloud. Let me create a loopback interface template. VPN interface. This time I will keep it to global no shut. Interface name will be like 2. IP address will be static. Global 192.160 172.16.50.1/24. My VPN2 it is 172 range. I will click on save. That is it. We'll create a copy of it. Create a copy. Hub VPN3 interface. I will edit this. This will be loopback 3. And the IP address will be 192.168.50.1/24. I'll click on update. Now this feature template needs to be attached in the device template as well. So I will edit my hub router device template. In the service VPN, what I have is VPN. For VPN2, I will edit this, and this time I do not have OSPF. I will remove OSPF, and in place of VPN2 interface, I will select Hub VPN2 interface and click on Save. Similarly, I will edit this as well. Remove this VPN interface, change it to VPN3 interface, click on Save. And click on Update. Now what we have did is, earlier in VPN2, we had OSPF, and in the OSPF, we have attached a interface. Okay. And that is why we were getting an error. We do not have OSPF on our hub router. On our hub router, we do not have OSPF because my loopback interface is locally attached to my router. So what we have did is we have edited the VPN2 and VPN3. I will click on Update. Now I will attach a device over here. Now this time it should work. Let us give the IP address really quick. 10.50.1.254. MPLS interface IP is 51.1. MPLS interface is 0/3. Internet interface IP 10.50.1.2 interface is GE 0/0. OSPF interface VPN 0 is G 0/3. System IP would be 99.99.50. Site ID 50. HO India. And finally, and click on Update. Next, configure. This time it should work. We should not get an error this time. See, we have successfully attached a device template to HO India router as well. And this is the way we should be doing the configuration of feature template. I hope everything with regards to template is clear to you, all. Okay, so we have completed these points. Device temp feature controller configuration with device template, we will not be doing that now because controllers are anyway managed in CLI mode. Controllers in various organizations have not seen the controllers being managed in template mode. So we will keep it to the CLI mode. So in the templates, we have discussed about device template, we have discussed about feature template, we have device specific. Have seen how to troubleshoot if any device is not being attached to a device template. So these are the things that we have checked today. Now, let us quickly go ahead and do a command overview. Before the command overview, let me go ahead and show before giving you the overview, let me go ahead and show you all what happens with the VH after it is completely configured. Now the first thing happens is my router will form a control connection. Now how many control connection will it form, and with which device it will form a control connection? Okay, let us go ahead and check it. The command to check it is show control connections. Now what we see here is and we manage. And this is my Dubai router. Now we see that it is forming a control connection with biz internet, using a biz internet. I should also expect it to form a control connection with MPLS link as well. Why is it not forming a control connection with MPLS? Let us go ahead and check that. I see there is a OSPF neighbor. Okay, so we will give it some time. It is trying to authenticate on the MPLS link. And once it is authenticated on the MPLS link, it should ideally form a control connection with the vSmart over the MPLS link as well. So we will give it some time. Or maybe we will see what exactly happens. So firstly, it will form a control connection. After forming a control connection, it will form a OMP peering, and there will be a BFD/IPsec tunnel. So these three tunnels are formed after the device is 100% configured. Now control connections will be formed with two devices. With respect to my edge router, control connections will be formed with two devices. First is with the vManage and second is with the vSmart. OMP will be formed only with the vSmart. And BFD/IPsec tunnel will be formed with only the edge routers. Now the question is, how many control connections will be formed between my edge and between my vManage controller? And the answer is 1. How many control connections will be formed between vSmart and my edge router? The answer is it depends upon the number of WAN links. And it also depends upon the number of vSmarts. For example, if we have two WAN links and if we have two vSmarts, in that case, let's say this is my edge router, this is my vSmart 1, and this is my vSmart 2. And if I have two WAN connections, in that case, my edge router will form a control connection using the MPLS. That will be one control connection. It will also form a control connection using internet. That will be the second control connection. Third, it will also form a control connection with MPLS with vSmart 2. That will be a third control connection. And finally, with the internet link. So if I have two vSmarts and two WAN links, it will form 4 control connections. If I have 3 vSmarts and 2 WAN links, there will be a 6 control connections. If I have 3 links, but two vSmarts. Again, it will have 6 control connections. So the control connection with the vSmart depends upon the number of WAN links that we have and the number of vSmarts that we have. How many OMP peering will my edge router form with the vSmart? The answer is only one OMP peering per vSmart. What if I have two vSmarts? In that case, two OMP peering will be formed, one with each vSmart. How many BFD/IPsec tunnels will be formed? Again, this depends upon the number of WAN links and number of edges we have in the network. By default, my edge routers will form a full mesh topology. Now, what is a full mesh topology? Let us go ahead and discuss that. The full mesh topology meaning, by default, my edge router will form a BFD/IPsec tunnel with my London router, Dubai router, as well as with the HO India router. Now let's say I have three more routers over here. Now what will happen is, my Dubai router will form a BFD IPsec tunnel with my London router as well, with my HO router as well, and with these routers as well. This is the meaning of full mesh topology. Now the question is, how many tunnels will it form with my London router, with my HO router, and with my rest of the routers? The answer to that question is, it depends upon the number of WAN links and the connectivity. So with this scenario, what we have GE0/0 connecting via MPLS to the London router and to the HO router. So in this case, my Dubai router will form one BFD with HO, second BFD with London over MPLS link, third BFD with HO, fourth BFD, fourth IPsec with London using internet link. Now, if there is no connectivity over here, if we see over here, there is no connectivity in between MPLS and in between internet. So if there was a connectivity between internet and MPLS router, the the IPsec tunnels would have been increased. This would have formed a tunnel with this one and this one as well. Similarly, this interface would have formed a tunnel with this one and this one as well. So the number of IPsec tunnel depends upon the number of WAN links and how it is set up, how the connectivity is. Now, what happens after the control connections are formed? Okay. Now, my vManage has formed the control connection with the edge router. Now, the role of this vManage is to configure these devices. Now, the configuration will be done using netconf protocol over TCP port 830. Apart from that, my vManage is also responsible for pushing the centralized policy to all the routers that is in the SD-WAN fabric. Apart from pushing the centralized policy, it is also responsible for monitoring and management. So these are the roles of my vManage after forming a control connection with the edge router. Now, what is the role of vSmart? After vSmart has formed control connection, it will form one OMP peering as well. After forming the control connection with vSmart, my edge routers will also form a OMP peering with each of the vSmarts. Now, what is the role of my vSmart? The role of my vSmart is to push any centralized policy to the vManages, to the edge routers. Apart from that, it will also send any routing updates. Third, it will send the IPsec keys. Now, what is routing update and IPsec keys? After forming the control connection and the OMP peering, each of my edge routers will share three things with the vSmart. First, it will share the LAN details. Second, it will share the TLOG details. Third, it will share service details, service routes. As of now, do not keep keep these service routes aside. Let us discuss about the LAN and TLOG. We are clear that these are the LAN subnets. Now, my edge router will tell that these LAN subnets are reachable through my MPLS link and my internet link. Now, what my vSmart will do? vSmart will do the calculation that these routes are reachable via Dubai router, and it will send these updates to my London router and to the HO router. That way, the routing update is sent from vSmart to all the routers for this particular Dubai. Similarly, London router will share its LAN routes. vSmart will do the calculation and it share it with Dubai and the HO router. So if you want to reach the London LAN, you have these TLOG details. So these routing updates are sent by the vSmart in the form of OMP peering. OMP peering operates on TCP 17900 port. Apart from that, my edge router will also share the TLOC routes with the vSmart. Now, what is the TLOC routes? TLOC is a combination of three things. First, the IP address. Second, the color. Third, the encapsulation. By default, the encapsulation that is used is IPsec. Color is what we did during our configuration, and the IP, but the IP address, the combination of this is called TLOC. So what my vSmart does is vSmart shares three things: routing updates, IPsec keys, and centralized policy. Centralized policy, we will discuss this in detail in our later sessions. Now, it is responsible for sharing the IPsec keys so that they can form an IPsec tunnel with each other. Now, this IPsec keys are refreshed after every 24 hours. Okay, so the IPsec keys are not refreshed after every 24 hours. Those are the control connection. The IPsec keys, my bad, is refreshed after 24 hours. The edge router will do that update and send it to the vSmart. So these are the functions that are done after the control connections are formed completely. I have also listed down the role and the control connections that are formed over here. I will be sharing this with you all. Now, let us quickly go ahead and do understand the commands walkthrough, or maybe we will do the commands walkthrough in the next sessions. We are already time. So now what we have completed is we have completed these points. Commands walkthrough, we will be doing it in the next session. And there are few key takeaways from today's session that you all should. Feature template of one model, device model cannot be used to another device model, and device template of one model cannot be used to another device model. Control connections are refreshed after every 24 hours. IPsec keys are refreshed after every 12 hours. So guys, this is it for today. Commands walkthrough, we will be doing it in the next session. I will give you all the rights to unmute, and if you all have any questions, you all can ask now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. This you mentioned in the last, right? The feature template of one device model cannot. So when we say VH router cannot be used on a ISR router, or like within the VH router, different models are there, right? So
Yeah. So if you see here, let me show it to you. If we go to configuration templates, feature template. So if we see here ISR 1000, so if we select ISR 1100, now there are in this ISR 1100, there can be okay, yeah, there can be in this ISR 1100, there can be 1111X model, 1121X model. Now in this ISR 1100, I can configure all these family routers. But if we talk about, let's say ISR 2000 series, I cannot configure in this feature template. I will have to use some other router, the other feature template. So for ISR 4000 series, 4221X, I cannot configure ISR 4221X with this ISR 1100. Clear? Is that clear?
clear, it's clear.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys?
No, my
Yeah.
question's in the chat. I asked if to move a motion if we can move the class for next Saturday, so we have time to set up our labs properly. I don't know if that's okay with
Okay,
everyone.
so we will be, yeah, I will put a poll in the WhatsApp group, and if most of them agrees, I will do that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ayan, so if you want to replace the new hardware, or if you want to add that new hardware, so what is the process? Like the same template we need to, based on the models, we need to push the template to that new device.
A different model. See, if you are, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So you are referring to a model, let's say ISR 4221X. Now you have 10 routers in your network and you have already configured it with a device template. Now you are adding 5 more ISR 4221X in your network. Now your question is whether you will be able to configure it with the same device template. That is your question, right?
Yes.
Yes. So you can use the same device template if the setup is similar. If the setup is different, in that case, you will have to create a different device template, but you can use the same feature template.
Okay.
Understood?
Yes. So in that case, suppose if any hardware is faulty, right? So while during that replacement time, then we can push the same
Yes.
template, right? Whatever that
Same
earlier
template.
template is.
Yes. Yes. Same template.
So what is the basic configuration required in initial, like once we receive that RMA? So what is the
Hmm.
initial configuration required in the device?
You will have to add it to the vManage first.
Oh,
How will you do it? Either you will sync the smart account or via serial WebTela file. vManage knows about this device now. vBond will share. vManage will share it to vBond and vSmart, both the controllers. Once this is done, you will have to attach that device. We attached Dubai, London, and HO India router to a device template, right?
yeah, yeah.
Similarly, you will have to go ahead and attach that template to a device template, to the device template, and fill
Okay.
the mandatory details, and that is it. You will also need a minimum configuration on the RMA devices. What are the minimum configuration? We discussed system template, VPN 0 template, and VPN 512 template. These are the minimum configuration. Rest you can do it from the device template.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
Yeah, Tarun this side, and like no in like no real environment, mostly organizations use a UTC time zone and like no NTP servers, right? So whenever any
Yeah.
system however it is in cloud, so how the synchronization will happen because it should be match the UTC time or whatever the time everything, right? Sometimes due to this zone issues, software updations won't happen and like no communication also sometimes won't happen, right?
So in that case, you will not select time zone in the system template. What you will do is you will have a NTP template.
Right.
Let me show it to you. Let me show it to you. Something is wrong. Here you will select a NTP template. All the
Oh,
devices, you will have a NTP server. You will add
right.
the server details over here. Now, all the devices will fetch the timing using this NTP server. Now, if you are telling if there is something wrong with this NTP server, this is something that the server team who is managing this NTP should be looking into it. So if there is something wrong with this NTP, then the timings that all my devices get will be incorrect and there might be
Ah,
problem.
yeah,
So,
that is also a drawback, right?
yeah. So anything related to NTP will be a role of the NTP server, not yours. But the configuration, you can do it from here.
Okay, we will just give the server NTP server IP there. So when it is goes on,
Yes,
everything will
yes,
mess up. Correct. Mm. Mostly in real time, we use NTP server only, right? And
we do. Yes.
okay.
Oh, and when the each device, when it first connects, it initiates the control connection, is it? The control connection is initiated by the each device, or which device is it? Yeah, okay. And it goes to the V bond, and after that, how VBOD identifies that is the right device, valid device in the environment? Is it because the information it received from vManage, the serial number details, or just
Correct. Your understanding is right.
okay?
That is how it understands. vManage shares its device details with the vBond, right, after authentication.
Okay.
Now vBond know which devices to expect on the network.
Okay. Again, VH only will initiate a connection to the vManage and vSmart. VH only will initiate the control connection to
With all
the
these controllers,
controllers.
with
Okay.
all with all of these, my vManage will be the initiator. Sorry, VH will be the initiator.
Okay. And similarly, vManage and vSmart also authenticate verifies with, because it's already validated by the vBond, and also it checks the serial number or information
Of edge device?
of the edge device here. Is that correct? My understanding?
Yes, they will check the serial number because, yeah, your understanding is correct.
Okay. And the OMP session, OMP peering, is it initiated by the VH or it is coming from the vSmart?
OMP session, as soon as the control connection is formed, the OMP session by default is initiated. That is initiated from the edge router. I need to check who is the initiator in this case. I will check and confirm.
Okay.
But by default, it is initiated. There is no need for any specific configuration.
Sure. Okay. And BFT
We'll
also
do a quick
initiated by the
capture
VH.
over here. And
Okay.
yeah, BFD is between the edge, between different edges.
Okay.
Hello, I am sir. Arun here.
Hi, Arun. Yeah,
This VH is this VH is the router, na here.
correct. It is the router.
Which model it is, ISR or ASR?
No, here we are using virtual routers. So this is
Virtual
VH Cloud.
VH Cloud. Here we are using
Yeah.
virtual cloud. Yeah. In real time also it is one kind of router, na? I mean edge router is like a router.
Yes, there is VH router. We discussed, right? VH is Viptela devices, CH is Cisco devices.
CH is web devices side. Here vManage, vSmart, and vBond is there. What is the main difference between this vBond and vSmart? Can you give me one or two features, especially these two devices?
Okay. Did you miss any initial lectures?
No, not miss. I regularly attended the class.
Okay.
I
Okay, no problem. No problem. So vSmart is responsible for management plane, vBond for authentication, vManage for management plane. Guys, uh, is someone using a note option over here? Because I am unable to use my stylus. Give me 1 second. So my vSmart is responsible for management of control plane. 1 second, Arun. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem, sir.
Anyway, so vSmart is responsible for the management of the control plane. vSmart is responsible for control plane. vBond is the authenticator plane, and vManage is responsible for the management plane. vBond, the role of the vBond is to authenticate the device and give the vSmart and vManage details to the edge router. The role of the
Okay.
vSmart we discussed here, right? We discussed here. The role of the vSmart is to provide the centralized policy configuration, routing updates, and the IPsec keys post authentication. Okay. And the role of the vManage is to push the configuration to the edge routers, send the localized policy, start monitoring it, and start the management of the edge routers post authentication.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah, it's
I will
okay.
share
Thank you.
this table with you all. I will share this table with you all. Just go through this table and try and understand it. Okay, because these are all interview questions. How many control connections will be there between the edge router and the vManage? What about the edge router and vSmart control connections? How many connections will be there? How many OMP pairings will be there? These are all the interview questions. Which protocol will it work on? Apart from that, what on which port and does that protocol work? So all of these are interview questions. And here I have mentioned everything for all. Okay, I have mentioned about the netconf protocol. I have mentioned TLS protocol. So I have mentioned all of this over here. We have also discussed that netconf operates on TCP 830. DTLS works on 12346 UDP. OMP operates on TCP 17900. So all of this we have discussed. And these are all the interview questions. Make sure you all go through it once.
Okay, one more question in diagram. Please, can you open the diagram?
Yeah. Okay.
Everywhere from VH to internet router and that VH10 to edge router. Only we are using 10.70.1.0.24. For one end it is 0. Another end, which one we have to use? 1 or 2? Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Here IP VH router 10
So
and internet.
on
Between
the
the
router
IP
end,
is
we are using .254.
254. Okay. Now because here
Here
only
we are using
10.6
.1.
254 here for this end. And for this VH10, we are using 1
Correct.
IP. Okay.
On all the ends, we are using .1.
Uh,
And here we are using .254.
255. Yeah. Thank you for the clearance. This one. Actually, I
254.
thought that because sometimes we are writing both end as the IP, na, immediately it is clear. That's what I ask once again.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Answer.
No problem. Any more questions, guys?
One of the query was that was earlier asked, right? Well, what are the is there any major difference between a C edge and a V edge actually? Like from a time
Yeah, these are
terms of advantage and
these are
disadvantages actually.
so basically at the end of the day, these are routers. Okay. VEdge is with Viptela edge devices, Viptela devices. The OEM of that is Viptela. And CEdge is the Cisco owned devices. The operating system on both of them, the firmware on both of them is different. And the rest, everything, the functionality remains. The only difference between here is they are OEM. And when we talk about the functionality with respect to the SDN operating, all of it is same. No difference. And in Viptela edge devices, there are few commands. So for example, here we do in our Viptela devices, let me show it to you. So this is as of now my Viptela device, right? Show control connections. Here what we use is directly show control connections. But when we go to the Cisco device, it will not work on show control connections. We will have to do show SD-WAN control connections. I will share all of this list with you. I have these commands that are relevant for Cisco device and that are relevant for the Viptela device. I will share it with you. Okay, does that answer your question? Who was it?
Yes, it answers. Thank you.
Any other queries, guys?
I asked this question previously on on-net DIA and off-net DIA. If you have a single service provider at your branch, so what would be the best way to design such a network if you have a single provider with 2 WAN links on coming into your premises for on-net and off-net DIA?
So you mean only one ISP on this particular
Yes.
router?
Let's
you do
say
not have
one
any other ISP.
Let's say your London branch, you have a single circuit with on-net and off-net. So essentially, you have one router at the edge with 2 WAN links, on-net and off-net, same provider. Is that clear?
I'm not sure if I've completely understood your question. So what you mean to say is you do not have this link, you only have this one link.
Yes, you have just one link, but
what you
that
mean?
one link is on-net and off-net.
When you say on-net and off-net, what exactly?
So we're in an environment where you're doing like direct internet breakout, and you have off-net, which is just there passively and not actually doing the same anything, but from the same provider.
Okay, so if you are referring to the internet breakout on the same one link, what happens is, let's say you have only one link. With this one link, you will also be doing the internet breakout and the traffic routing towards your edges. You do not need 2 different links to do the traffic passing on the breakout and on the edge routers. With using the one single link, you can achieve that.
Okay, so the TLOC extension, is it going to be one for off-net and one for let's say on-net
TLOC
DIA?
extension is a different TLOC extension is a different topic altogether. So with TLOC extension, you will have one link with MPLS connecting on your router 1, one link from internet connecting on your router 2. Now, what will happen on router 1 is it will form control connection using MPLS link as well as internet link, even though it is not connected directly to the internet link. So with this TLOC extension, we will refer to that use case. We have a use case in our course. We will be doing that, and when we do that, you will have more clarity on it.
So how many IPsec tunnels will you have in this case?
With TLOC extension?
Yes, with this
With TLOC
scenario
extension,
described. Yes.
So my question is with TLOC extension or without TLOC extension?
Without TLOC extension. Let's go without TLOC extension.
Okay. In this scenario, we have two WAN links, correct? 1 and 2. All right. Now,
Yes.
if I talk about my edge router, it will form two control connection with Dubai router and two control connection with my HO router. So if I talk about this, this will have 4 IPsec tunnels, 4 BFD connections.
Okay.
If you
So
want to
for a
go a
single,
little more in detail, if you want to go a
yeah,
little more in detail, let's say I had a connectivity with this between these two routers. Then instead of 4, we would have 8 control connections, 8 BFD sessions.
mm,
And the reason behind is with this, I will form 4 IPsec tunnels, and with this ISP, this provider, I will form 4 ISP connections. How 4 ISP connections? One with this one, second with this one, third with this one, and fourth with this one. Similarly, this will also have 4. One with this, second with this, third and fourth. And hence we will have 8 IPsec tunnels. And this is when you have a full mesh topology. If you have a hub and spoke topology, the IPsec tunnels will be formed only with the hub router. Any traffic passing between the branches will go through my hub router only.
is it possible to this is a different question. Is it possible to use a physical device and a virtual for HA at the same time, like a hybrid?
Okay.
For your
So
edge,
you mean you
for
will
your
use one
VH.
model over here and other model over here for TLOC extension.
Yes.
Is that what you mean? Yes, technically it should be possible. When you talk about the configuration, it will be a challenging to you. Technically, there is no harm in doing that.
Yeah.
The only challenge you will have is when you actually go and start configuring it.
Okay. So what's the if you have environment where you have your cloud provider, let's say AWS or Microsoft Azure, you can provision your vEdges within those clouds, right?
The edge routers on the cloud.
Yes, the edge routers in yes. If you don't have physical data centers in your branch, can you do that?
Okay. So there is no physical data center and you want all of these routes. You have certain applications hosted on AWS and you
Yes.
want to install a router over there and you want to add those router in your SD-WAN fabric.
Yes.
Okay. So with that setup, firstly, you will have to see whether the AWS will allow any external router to be added into their network. I
Okay.
doubt that AWS will allow you doing that because somehow you are entering into their network, right?
Yeah, but where do you install the V Edge, the non-physical devices?
Technically, everything is possible. The only challenge is when you actually go ahead and do those implementation. There are certain challenges when you actually try implementing whatever the planning is. So
Yeah.
I doubt AWS will allow you to install your router in their network. So you also had
Isn't
another
that what
question.
is called a cloud on ramp?
Cloud on ramp is a different aspect altogether.
Oh, okay.
Any more questions?
No, that's all. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else? Any more questions?
Thank you, answer. Today lecture is very good. You have done the very good configuration in everywhere one by one.
Good, good. So
Yes.
maybe you'll do the same and you'll have a good hands-on.
Inshallah.
All right then, guys. So if there's no more questions, we will wind up for today. See you in the next week.